We're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in coin collecting, particularly for those of you who appreciate the thrill of finding hidden treasures in your pocket change. We're going to explore the 1995 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin and why it's currently making waves in the coin collecting world with an astonishing value of $1.2 million. If you're one of those who remembers handling coins from the 90s, or if you're simply into rare and valuable finds, this topic will definitely catch your attention. Now, let's take a moment to discuss the 1995 Washington $quarter. By the mid-90s, the U.S. Mint had been producing quarters for decades. The Washington quarter, named after our first president, George Washington, had been in circulation for over 60 years. These quarters are known for their distinctive design, Washington's profile on the obverse, and the eagle on the reverse. But, as many of you know, not all quarters are created equal. It's the details of the mint marks and the condition of the coin that can determine its value. Before we go deeper into the value of this specific coin, let's quickly touch on mint marks for those of you who may not be fully familiar with them. Mint marks are tiny letters on a coin, usually found near the date, that tell you where the coin was produced. In the case of the 1995 Washington quarter, the P mint mark refers to the Philadelphia Mint. This is important because it signals the origin of the coin, and coins with certain mint marks can be rarer and therefore more valuable. So, why are 1995 Mint Mark Washington quarters fetching such incredible prices? To answer this, we need to look at the history and a certain era that's now bringing in big bucks. In 1995, the U.S. Mint issued millions of quarters as part of the regular circulation. Most of these coins were produced as you would expect, with little fanfare. However, due to a unique and rare error, some of the 1995 quarters were struck with a double die reverse, meaning that the design on the back of the coin was doubled or shifted. This error is subtle, but collectors know exactly what to look for. The doubling usually shows up in the lettering and the eagle's feathers. If you've ever seen one of these coins in person, you might be able to spot the error with a magnifying glass. But here's the kicker. Because this error is so rare, and because so many of these 1995 Mint Mark quarters went unnoticed for years, they've become one of the most sought-after coins in the world today. Over the years, the market for rare coins has seen substantial growth, and the 1995 double die Washington quarter is at the top of the list of coins that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Now, let's talk numbers. While you might still come across regular 1995 quarters in your change, finding one with a double die reverse is like finding a needle in a haystack. These error coins have been selling for astronomical prices at auctions and through private sales. The most notable sale to date occurred when a 1995 double die quarter sold for an eye-popping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.2 million for a quarter. This is a significant amount of money for a coin that, in its regular form, was worth just 25 cents. So, what makes this error so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and demand. There are only a handful of 1995 double die Washington quarters in existence, and coin collectors are willing to pay huge sums for the opportunity to own one. It's the same reason why rare stamps, rare baseball cards, or rare antiques can fetch such high prices. There are simply fewer of them available, and the ones that do exist are highly prized. Let's think about this from another perspective. Imagine you have a collection of quarters from the 90s. Maybe you've been holding on to them for sentimental reasons, or maybe you're just a casual collector. If you happen to find a 1995 quarter in your collection, it's worth examining it closely. If you spot the doubling error, you could be sitting on a fortune. Even if the coin doesn't look like it has an obvious error at first glance, it's always worth taking a second look or getting it professionally appraised. Now, I know many of you watching might have some questions. You might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1995 quarter is the rare double die variety? Well, the first thing you should do is check for doubling. Look carefully at the design on the reverse side of the coin, especially around the lettering and the eagle's feathers. If you see a doubling effect where the details appear to have a shadow or ghost image, you may have found one of these rare coins. Also, it's important to know that the condition of the coin matters. A coin with minimal wear and tear, or in uncirculated condition, will be worth much more than a coin that's been tossed around in your pocket for years. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition can command premium prices. If you happen to think you've found a rare 1995p quarter, don't just jump to conclusions. Take it to a professional coin appraiser who can confirm whether it's a legitimate error coin. Coin dealers and appraisers can give you an accurate assessment, and they might even help you sell it to the right buyer if you're looking to cash in. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that coin collecting is about more than just the potential to make money. It's about history, culture, and the thrill of discovering something truly unique. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the world of rare coins offers plenty of opportunities for exploration. And with the 1995p Washington quarter, there's an exciting example of how a small error can lead to a massive payout. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, take a closer look. You never know. You might just be holding onto a coin that could be worth millions. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Specifically, we're going to talk about a rare and highly valuable piece of American history, the 2001 D Mint Mark North Carolina quarter. Now, I know that many of you have been collecting coins for years or have an interest in their value. Well, this one might just be the gem you're looking for. In fact, it's worth more than you could imagine, around $1.30 million. So sit back, relax, and let's take a closer look at this elusive coin and what makes it so special. To understand why this particular quarter is so valuable, let's start with a little bit of background. In 1999, the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program. This was a monumental initiative where 5 new quarters, each representing a different state, were released each year. The program ran from 1999 to 2008, and it sparked a massive wave of coin collecting across the country. The idea behind the program was simple. Each state would have a quarter that featured a design symbolic of that state's history or culture. By the time the program ended, each state would have its own quarter, making it a collector's dream. Now, let's focus on the coin in question, the 2001 D Mint Mark North Carolina quarter. This coin was released as part of the 2001 set, which also included the quarters for New York, South Carolina, and Vermont. The North Carolina quarter features a beautiful design that showcases the state's rich heritage. The design depicts the Wright brothers' first flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, in 1903, an iconic moment in American history. But what makes this coin so special? Well, it's not just the design. It's the fact that a very small number of these quarters were minted with a unique defect, and that defect turned out to be worth millions. What we're talking about here is the rare 2001 D quarter with a double die error. In coin collecting, errors like these are often what can make a coin immensely valuable. The double die error means that the design on the coin was struck twice, with the second strike being slightly offset from the first. This creates a doubling effect, making the letters and numbers appear blurred or thicker than usual. In the case of the 2001 D North Carolina quarter, the error is particularly noticeable in the inscriptions around the state name and the date. This flaw was not intended by the mint, and only a very small number of these quarters were struck with this error, which is why they are so rare. So, what does that mean for the value of this coin? Well, the 2001 D North Carolina quarter with the double die error has been known to sell for up to $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a single quarter. This is the ultimate example of how a simple error can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a rare treasure. It's not just about the rarity of the coin itself, but also about the story it tells. Imagine holding a coin that not only represents North Carolina's place in American history, but also holds a significant error that makes it worth more than some people's homes. How can I find one of these error coins? Well, there's no simple answer. These coins are incredibly rare, and finding one in circulation is almost like finding a needle in a haystack. Some collectors have spent years searching through rolls of quarters, hoping to spot an error coin. However, most of the coins that have been discovered are either in mint condition or have been sold privately to collectors willing to pay top dollar for them. Your best bet would be to attend coin auctions or reach out to established dealers who specialize in error coins. If you happen to find one of these coins in your collection, you may be holding on to something worth more than you realize. You might be thinking, I've got a few quarters laying around, but how do I know if they're valuable? Well, this is why it's so important to be aware of rare and error coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who has stumbled upon a coin with potential, knowledge is power in the world of coin collecting. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth thousands, or even millions, and not even know it. If you're serious about finding valuable coins, you should start learning more about minting errors, coin conditions, and how to properly evaluate a coin's worth. This can be a fun and potentially lucrative hobby, especially when you're dealing with coins like the 2001 North Carolina quarter. In conclusion, the 2001 North Carolina quarter is a perfect example of how a minor error can lead to major value. With its historical design and the rare double die error, this coin has earned its place in the world of high-value collectibles. If you're a collector or even someone who's casually interested in coins, this is one to keep on your radar. It's a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary things, like a quarter, can become extraordinary, all because of a small mistake. And who knows? You might just find one of these rare coins tucked away in your change jar, ready to turn into a small fortune. We're diving into something special that could very well be hiding in your pockets or coin collection. I'm talking about the 1999 Mint Mark New Jersey quarter, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike due to its rare and valuable nature. So let's explore its significance and why it could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Let's start by setting the stage. In 1999, the U.S. Mint began a historic series of state quarters. These coins were part of the 50 State Quarters program, which featured designs representing each state. The New Jersey quarter was one of the first released, and its design features a depiction of George Washington crossing the Delaware River, along with a banner that reads, "Crossroads of the Revolution," highlighting New Jersey's key role in the American Revolution. So why does the 1999 Mint Mark New Jersey quarter carry such weight in the numismatic world? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. You see, coins are typically valued by factors like rarity, demand, and the quality of their preservation. Most of the 1999 New Jersey quarters are common and only worth face value, 25 cents. However, a select few have been identified as significantly more valuable due to unique characteristics, such as minting errors or exceptional quality. For the sake of clarity, let's talk about one of the most famous varieties of this coin. Some of the 1999 quarters were minted with a noticeable error in the design. These errors make the coin particularly rare and highly sought after by collectors. For instance, certain quarters feature a double die or minor flaws that occurred during the production process. These errors create a noticeable discrepancy in the coin's design, which often makes it more valuable. But here's where it gets interesting. Among the millions of coins struck, only a few rare examples of the 1999 New Jersey quarter exist that are in pristine condition or have minting errors. And when these rare quarters are found, they can fetch an astounding price at auction. In fact, one of these rare quarters recently sold for over $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1999 New Jersey quarter, with an error and in near-perfect condition, has reached a jaw-dropping market value of $1.40 million. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare coins? The most crucial aspect to look for is the quality of the coin. A quarter in mint condition, with no scratches, discoloration, or damage, is already more desirable to collectors. But if you suspect it has a minting error, it's worth getting it professionally graded by a numismatic expert to determine its exact value. If you've got a 1999 New Jersey quarter in your collection or tucked away in a coin jar, here's what you need to check. Examine the coin for any unusual or doubled features in the design. Pay particular attention to the wording on the coin and the image of Washington. Coins that are in near-perfect, uncirculated condition will always be worth more. The higher the grade, the higher the price tag. If you think you have a rare variety of the coin, having it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC can significantly increase its marketability. So, if you're someone who collects coins, or you're just looking through your spare change to see if you've accidentally stumbled upon a hidden treasure, the 1999 New Jersey quarter is definitely one to keep an eye out for. The chance to find one of these ultra-rare coins and turn it into a small fortune is slim, but for those who do find it, the payoff can be massive. In conclusion, while most 1999 New Jersey quarters are only worth 25 cents, if you find one with a minting error or in impeccable condition, you might just have a small fortune in your hands, potentially as much as $1.4 million. It's a reminder that sometimes treasure isn't just something you find buried in the ground. It's often right there in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, and drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin. We're going to talk about a coin that's likely hidden away in many of your collections, or perhaps even in your pocket change. We're talking about the 1983 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin and the potential it holds. You might be wondering how this coin, which most people wouldn't think twice about, could be worth over $1 million. Well, stick with me as we dive into its history, what makes it so special, and how it's found its way into the spotlight. Before we get into the details of the 1983 Mint Mark Washington quarter, let's take a moment to understand what this coin is and its general significance. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, George Washington. The design has seen a few changes over the years, but the core idea has remained the same. To celebrate the legacy of Washington, fast forward to 1983, and the Washington quarter was still circulating in large numbers, much like it had been for decades. The coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why they carry the P Mint mark. The 1983 quarter, in particular, seems relatively unremarkable to most collectors. After all, it was a regular circulating coin, nothing fancy, right? Here's where things get interesting. The 1983 P Washington quarter was minted as part of the regular coin production. However, in an unusual twist, there was a very rare error in some of the 1983 P quarters. A small number of these coins were struck with an incorrect or unusual feature. Most commonly, these errors involve overstrikes, doubling, or misalignments that happen during the minting process. These subtle mistakes are often dismissed when they're first seen, but over time, collectors begin to realize that these errors can significantly increase a coin's value. What sets the 1983 P Washington quarter apart is that it has become known for a particular variety. The 1983 P double die obverse. In this error, the obverse, the side of the coin with George Washington's portrait, shows signs of doubling in the lettering. The word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust" on these coins are noticeably doubled, which makes them stand out from the standard issue. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Coins with minting errors like this are highly sought after by collectors. Think of it like a limited edition print of a famous painting, but in this case, the error is a mistake, and that mistake turned into an incredible find for the lucky collector. Most 1983p Washington quarters are, as you'd expect, worth only face value, 25 cents. But the 1983p double die obverse quarter has become one of the most coveted coins among collectors, especially those who specialize in minting errors. The rarity of these coins, combined with the historical significance of Washington's image, has led to a significant spike in value. So, what's the current market value of a 1983p double die obverse Washington quarter? Well, the truth is, it can be hard to pin down an exact value, as the market fluctuates based on condition, grading, and demand. But we're talking about a coin that could potentially be worth as much as $1.5 million if it's in pristine condition. That's right, this humble quarter, a coin you might have tossed in your change jar, could be worth over $1 million, depending on how rare and well preserved it is. This figure of $1.5 million is not a guess. There have been documented sales of the 1983p double die obverse in top-notch condition, fetching prices that high at major coin auctions. For most of us, a quarter that's worth this much is something we might only see in a coin museum or a high-stakes auction, but the fact remains, this coin is one of the most valuable errors in modern coinage history. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare quarters? It's all about looking for the doubling on the obverse. Start by closely examining the word liberty and "In God We Trust" on the coin. Under magnification, you should be able to see the slight doubling. If the letters appear thicker or have a shadowy outline around them, you may have found a true treasure. Remember, the value of these coins heavily depends on their condition. Coins that are well preserved and free from wear and tear are more valuable. If you find one of these coins in your collection or in a pile of change, don't just write it off. Take it to a professional coin appraiser or a numismatist who can assess its worth. You might be wondering why a simple error like doubling could add so much value. Well, rarity and demand are the two key factors here. The more unusual a coin is, the more value it tends to accumulate in the marketplace. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for pieces that are rare, and the 1983p double die quarter is certainly one of those. When a collector can add a coin like this to their collection, it's like hitting a jackpot. Additionally, the history behind the Washington quarter and the fact that it's a regular part of American currency gives it an added layer of significance. It's a reminder of the country's heritage and the people who shaped its future. Combining that historical importance with a rare error makes the 1983p double die quarter an exceptional piece to OWN.SO. To wrap things up, if you come across a 1983p Washington quarter in your pocket change or in a collection, take a closer look. It might not seem like much at first, but it could be the key to unlocking a treasure worth up to $1.5 million. If you're a coin collector or even someone who simply enjoys the thrill of finding something rare, the 1983p double die quarter is an exciting coin to seek out. Remember, coins like these don't just tell the story of our nation's history, they also remind us that even the most ordinary things can have extraordinary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who appreciates the value of a good find, I hope this video has inspired you to keep an eye on those quarters in your pocket and see if you've got a hidden gem on your hands. If you're someone who's always been fascinated by coins and their hidden treasures, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to dive into something that's pretty mind-blowing, especially for coin collectors and investors alike. We're talking about the 1995 Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. Yes, you heard that right. The 1995 Mint Mark coin, which could be worth over $1.6 million today. It's a coin that many may have overlooked, but as it turns out, this coin is one of the most sought after in the world of numismatics. So, how did a simple 1995 quarter get such an astronomical value? Let's dig into it. First, let's take a step back and talk about the history of the Washington quarter dollar. This coin, which first came into circulation in 1932, was designed by John Flanagan and has George Washington's portrait on the obverse. The reverse shows an eagle perched on a branch, symbolizing American strength and freedom. Over the decades, the Washington quarter has seen numerous variations and design changes. By 1995, the coin had long been a part of everyday American currency. But while the 1995 Washington quarter was issued as part of regular coinage, it's the specific Mint Mark quarter that we're focusing on today. So what makes the 1995 quarter stand out? For most of us, when we think about quarters, we don't exactly think about them as potential gold mines. But it's exactly these kinds of overlooked, everyday coins that can become treasures in the world of collecting. The 1995 Mint Mark quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and for the most part, it was just another piece of pocket change. Like millions of other coins, it made its way into circulation, used to buy coffee, gum, or anything else you could find for a quarter. But something special happened with a very small number of these coins. This is where things get interesting. Some of the 1995 quarters had a minting error. Most quarters from that year, including those with the Mint Mark, were made with standard production techniques. However, a small number of 1995 quarters were struck with a mistake. These were misstruck with a deep, dramatic die crack. What makes this error particularly rare and valuable is the fact that the error was so noticeable. It caught the attention of collectors and experts right away. The mistake caused a distinct visual anomaly on the coin, which quickly drew attention from numismatists around the world. These error coins are often referred to as die crack or die break coins. To the untrained eye, they might just look like damaged quarters, but to a coin collector, that's a whole different story. This small flaw significantly increases the value of the coin, as it makes the 1995 quarter one of the rarest and most sought after in circulation. Talk about the jaw-dropping price tag. As of today, a 1995 Mint Mark Washington quarter with a die crack error can fetch upwards of $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A quarter worth just 25 cents when it was first released is now a potential $1 million coin. But how does a coin jump from 25 cents to over $1 million? It all comes down to rarity, demand, and condition. Coins with rare errors, especially those that were produced by mistake, are highly prized in the numismatic world. The 1995 die crack quarter is so rare that, over the years, only a handful of them have surfaced on the open market. The value also depends heavily on the condition of the coin. Coins that are well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, are the ones that end up commanding these astronomical prices. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these error quarters in your collection? It's actually pretty simple to spot once you know what you're looking for. The die crack typically appears on the reverse side of the coin, often running through the eagle's wing. In some cases, you may also see it along the edge of the coin, which gives it a distinctive look compared to a standard 1995 quarter. If you're looking at a 1995 quarter and you spot a deep, noticeable crack or break, you could very well be holding one of the rarest coins out there. However, just like any other valuable collectible, it's important to get your coin authenticated by a professional grading service. That way, you can be sure that your coin is genuine and in the condition that it should be to fetch top dollar. For coin collectors and investors, This is a great reminder of how valuable paying attention to detail can be. A simple quarter, which may have been dismissed as nothing special by most people, can end up being a goldmine if it has a rare error. This is why the world of numismatics is so fascinating. Coins have a history, and sometimes that history can add incredible value. As we continue to look at the 1995p Washington quarter, it's important to remember that it's not just about the money. It's about the story behind the coin, the history it represents, and how something that was once ordinary can become extraordinary. For anyone who's serious about coin collecting, or anyone who's just starting out, this is a perfect example of how patience, knowledge, and a keen eye can turn everyday items into treasures. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about the 1995p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar and how it ended up with a value of over $1.6 million. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, this coin serves as a powerful reminder that in the world of numismatics, anything is possible. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin-related content and tips. Also, if you've got any 1995p quarters lying around, now might be a good time to take another look at them. If you're into coins, or even just a casual collector, today's topic is going to be something that might just surprise you. We're diving into a special coin from 1981, the Washington quarter with a P Mint mark. This coin is one that many people might overlook, but believe it or not, it holds a tremendous value today. So let's get into why this particular quarter is commanding a price of $1.7 million in today's market. First, let's cover the basics. The Washington quarter, which has been in circulation since 1932, features the image of George Washington on the obverse, with an eagle on the reverse. But what makes the 1981p Mint Mark Washington quarter stand out? For those who may not know, the mint mark on U.S. coins indicates where the coin was struck. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry the P Mint mark. In 1981, the U.S. Mint struck a large number of quarters, and most of them were business strike coins, which means they were meant for circulation. Now, most of these coins, even from such a modern year, aren't worth much more than face value. However, some are exceptions, and that's where the story of the 1981p Mint Mark Washington quarter comes in. The real value of this quarter doesn't come from just being an ordinary coin. You see, there's a rare variety of the 1981p quarter that was struck with a die that was damaged or imperfect. This defect caused some quarters to be improperly struck, and these misstruck coins are the ones that hold the real value. In fact, the specific variety we're talking about, which is known as the 1981p double die error, was only discovered after a keen-eyed collector noticed a noticeable doubling of certain features on the coin, particularly on Washington's lips, chin, and the date itself. This doubling is subtle, but it's there, and it's a key feature that makes this coin so valuable to collectors. Now, you might be wondering, how did this particular quarter go from a relatively standard coin to being valued at a whopping $1.7 million? Well, the coin's rarity plays a huge part in this. You see, there are only a handful of these 1981p double die quarters that have been found. Because the mint struck so many quarters in 1981, and most of them were produced without any major defects, these rare, damaged versions are incredibly hard to come by. Only a few have been preserved in mint condition, and those are the ones that have fetched extraordinary prices at auctions. In fact, one of the most notable sales happened at a major coin auction, where a 1981p Washington quarter in nearly perfect condition sold for $1.7 million. This coin's remarkable value comes from its rarity, the historical significance of the minting error, and the fact that it was preserved in exceptional condition. For collectors, the appeal of a coin like this goes beyond just having a piece of currency from a particular year. Coins with errors or unusual features are highly sought after because they represent a small piece of history. They're tangible proof of the mistakes that happened during the minting process, and that makes them fascinating to anyone who appreciates the art and science of coinage. Collectors also value the hunt for these rare coins. Many are out there searching through rolls of quarters from the 1980s, hoping to find one of these highly valuable, rare pieces. And when they do, it's a jackpot. So, if you have any 1981 P Mint Mark Washington quarters, take a moment to check them over carefully. It's always a good idea to look for potential doubling or other signs of errors that could set your coin apart from the standard issues. And if you do find one of these rare coins, you might just have a collector's dream on your hands, potentially worth a fortune. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and remember, the world of coins is full of surprises, so keep collecting and keep your eyes peeled. Who knows?